So with the summer here, Oklahoma Sooner fans everywhere have collectively turned their attention to the class of 2024 and are wondering what excitement the Sooners will be able to generate on the trail this summer. However, we cannot forget about the existence of the transfer portal, as Coach Bates, Brent Venables, and the Oklahoma Sooners staff certainly haven't. Because here today, Oklahoma got a big win in the transfer portal at a position of major need, something we've got to break down. Before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you excited that Da'Jon Terry transfers from Tennessee to Oklahoma? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below, as those interactions seem small. They are massive, and we're on a push to 20,000 subscribers. I'd love to have you a part of this unbelievable community. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, who is Da'Jon Terry? Well, Da'Jon Terry is someone that has got a lot of experience in college football, as he came in during the 2019 season. He's played good quality minutes for the Tennessee Volunteers, and this past season he had 16 tackles, 7 solo tackles, and 2 sacks. Now, the thing that I find most compelling about Da'Jon Terry is twofold. First and foremost, the experience he brings to the table. This is a guy that's played against offensive linemen that are going to be playing in Sundays. This is a guy that's seen multiple schemes, and he's played SEC football. And on top of that, it's the size he brings to the table. According to ESPN, he stands 6'4", 321 pounds, and I think that's a compelling factor. Because when we look at the Oklahoma Sooners defensively, especially up front, and especially that interior defensive line, there's just not a whole lot of adequate depth there. So any addition you can make that you know will be able to successfully make that transition is one that you do. You don't have any question whether or not Da'Jon Terry can play college football. He's done so year after year. He's exemplified that he can do just that. And if we really dive into what Oklahoma Sooners need on that defensive side of the ball, this is exactly it. If we go back and really take a step back from this and ask ourselves what makes the Brent Venables defense tick, I think a lot of people are going to arrive at the linebacker position, and deservedly so. That cheetah position, the linebacker position, the way Brent Venables pins his ear back and almost lives by the sword and dies by the sword, and I've got a lot of respect for it. Brent Venables calls an aggressive style of defense, and if we go back to that 2019 Fiesta Bowl where Clemson played Ohio State, there were multiple times where we saw the linebackers flying around the field, penetrating, making plays, and making Justin Fields uncomfortable. So one of the reasons why those linebackers were able to be that successful, the defensive line, and specifically that interior. The reason why Da'Jon Terry is so big is he can plug up holes. He can preoccupy offensive linemen. And one of the big things for Oklahoma is dictating the line of scrimmage battle. If you're losing the battle of physicality at the line of scrimmage, you might lose that football game. That typically happens. If you lose the battle of physicality, you probably lose the football game because you've probably lost the time of possession battle. You've probably lost the rushing battle and being able to stop the opposing team running the football, and now they're controlling the game. They're dictating the game. So it's not a 100% guarantee that you lose, but it's just giving the other team resources they don't need. The reason Da'Jon Terry is big is that whenever you get these guys that can plug up those holes, that can stand steady and plant their foot in the ground and they're not moving, it allows your linebackers to run free. You don't worry as much about that guard being able to bust through your defensive line and then get hands on the linebacker, because you've got a cat on that defensive line that stands 6'4", 321 pounds, just plugging up the hole. So you don't need your interior defensive lineman to be giving you Aaron Donald numbers. You certainly don't argue with it, but we also need to understand what the scheme Brent Venables runs is and why these defensive linemen are so key to that scheme. If they're not the ones making plays, they are quasi the ones making plays because of the work they put in allows everybody else to flourish. They make the quarterback uncomfortable. They get the quarterback off their spot, and they allow the linebackers to run free and Brent Venables to call the blitzes he wants to call. He switches it up. He's sending pressure from different areas, but the consistent thing is this. That defensive line needs to soak up bodies so that the linebackers run free. And then by the third quarter, by the fourth quarter, your offensive line, your quarterback, your running backs, tight ends, they're so preoccupied with where the linebackers are coming from. Is there going to be a stunt? Is the cheetah coming down? Is it going to be a weak side linebacker blitz? That's when your defensive linemen start really getting home, because now that offense is scrambled. They're shell-shocked. They don't know where to look. This is the big reason why you don't need a defensive lineman that has given you 18 sacks on a year. You wouldn't argue with it. Nobody would argue with that. But you need guys that are going to win the battle of physicality. You need guys that are going to plug up holes and preoccupy offensive linemen so that your linebackers, so that your cheetah position can run free, play aggressive, and do what Brent Venables demands out of his defense. And that's why I think this win is compelling. You need adequate depth at that interior defensive line position. It's a reason why myself, PG, Jay, so many people have talked time and time again about the results that we hope to see the Sooners have on the recruiting trail at that defensive line position. But y'all already know the drill. I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.